Hey y'all, welcome to Remedy Kitchen, where I got what you need. It's your boy Lorenzo. I'm in the kitchen whipping and working as usual. As you can tell by my potato attire, we're about to get into some spuds. If you thought pumpkin was versatile, wait till you see this beautiful tuber. You can do anything with it. And I'm gonna show you all the things you can do, but in 3 ways. But we ain't got time for all the millions of ways you can cook potatoes. But I am gonna do some mashed potatoes, some croquettes, and some french fries. When I tell you that it's beyond easy to do any of these things, you're gonna be shocked. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing we're gonna do is actually prepare our french fries. And what people normally do for french fries is cut it and then fry it. But the way that I do french fries is I put it in the oven first, actually. It kind of hard cooks the potato, gets it nice and kind of cooked. And when you fry it, it's like creamy on the inside and crispy as fuck on the outside. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. As you see, I got my potatoes cut up nice and beautifully into some juicy looking fries. These are like them Wendy fries or Jacket Pops, I don't know, but they look fucking amazing. Look how thick they are. These are gonna be some nice long, thick fries. So the way that you do this is you take some oil, put it on your sheet tray. I told you, we're resourceful here at Remedy Kitchen. And you got a sheet tray, you use what you got. But try to make sure they're as evenly spread out as possible, because you don't want them sticking to each other and you want them to brown up nicely in the oven. So take your oil and go ahead and kind of put it all over the potatoes. You want it to be as evenly distributed as possible. Because it kind of is basically air frying before you actually fry it. But you semi-cook it in the oven and then you actually fry it. That's that on that. So into like a 350-degree oven for like 15-esque minutes. It's basically starting the cooking process before you fry it. It kind of will steam, and that's okay. But I'm gonna open the oven periodically to make sure it doesn't steam too much. So without further ado, into the oven we go. Okay, so look at the potatoes. I turned these over just to show y'all what I meant by it's gonna kind of air fry in the oven. So this is what we wanna see on the potatoes. And it's mostly gonna be on the other side, but that's okay, because you know, the whole thing's gonna be nice and crispy, but that means that half the cooking process is already done. So they're not gonna take that long in the actual oil, but you see how nice and crispy they're gonna be once they're done. So boom. Okay, mi gente, for this next part, you want to make sure you get a deep fryer set to like 350 to 375 degrees. And I got me a deep pot, fill it up like halfway with a neutral flavor, high smoke point oil. I use veggie because I'm cheap. You can use peanut or whatever you got. And I start adding them in small batches, making sure not to overcrowd my pot to make sure it's not getting too cold. And I was moving them around a lot to make sure they didn't clump together. So I'm actually show you what they finna look like. We'll kind of stir it a little bit. Anyways, they're looking nice and golden brown so far, but I actually put them back in, let them fry for about 3 to 4 minutes, because I want them to be nice and golden brown and crispy. And it was very good when it came out. But please make sure you season your food. I just use kosher salt. A lot of people like to get fancy and extravagant and use paprika and garlic powder and pepper and stuff, but I think salt to bring out the natural flavor in the potatoes. Look at that. Look how simple and gorgeous these fries are. They speak for themselves. And they say hello. Hello. I went ahead and cut some more potatoes up and filled them up with a pot with enough water just to cover them. Cold water, by the way. Never stop potatoes in hot water. I don't know why. Some written rule, somebody somewhere told me, so I just don't do that shit, you know? And while that's boiling away, I got my croquette station set up. I got some egg, some flour, and some panko breadcrumbs. Panko specifically, because you don't want to use those other kind of breadcrumbs. This is what you want. This is the good shit. Use that. And I got my frying station set up with my oil. You want to use a neutral flavor, high smoke point oil. I got vegetable oil because it was cheap. That's all, you know, none to it. And I got some cream and some butter right here for my mashed potatoes later on. So that's that on that. So, you know, now it's just the waiting game. Okay, so I actually forgot to mention that I put like 15 garlic cloves peeled inside of this piece of foil with some oil and some salt. I'm gonna put that in my oven for like 20 to 30 minutes so it can get all nice and brown and caramelized and soft and mushy, because all that goodness is going into the potatoes. You can't have mashed potatoes without garlic, I'm just saying. or croquettes, you know, because we're using the mashed potatoes to make the croquettes. It's a 2-for-1 special, so you gotta have that roasted garlic in there. That being said, to the oven we go. Okay, so in my pot, I got my boiled potatoes, I have my roasted garlic, and I'm about to get to mashing. It actually occurred to me that I forgot to put the oil in with my garlic, which you usually should do. I totally forgot to do that, but it's all Gucci. It's gonna mash up either way. I'm gonna mash my potatoes up. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add in my butter cream mixture. I went ahead and consolidated them together. You know, just, oops, got some random potato. Went ahead and consolidated them together so I can, you know, have kind of a 2-for-1 going on. Gonna go ahead and mix that in. Like a cup of cream and a stick of butter. This is not healthy at all, but I don't care about that. And you can't just serve these potatoes just like this. You need to make sure you season that shit. So we're gonna add some parsley. It really got that much taste to it, but the color is nice. It makes it look like you did something. A little black pepper. Not too much of that. Some kosher, and I emphasize kosher salt. This is a major key for potatoes. And I can't tell you a specific amount to put into your potatoes. That's really a personal preference, but you do want to taste as you go to make sure you're not over seasoning or under seasoning. Really check for under seasoning, because once you go over, there's no fixing that. You gotta really just start the fuck over. But let's see where we are taste-wise. Definitely some more salt. Oh my God. I feel like the butler from Scary Movie 2. My strong man. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, turkey. Yes, ham. Look at these mashed potatoes. I know they look amazing. And guess what? They tasted 10 times better than they look. And they already look amazing. So guess how they tasted? Even more amazing. Alright, my little baby kids, this next recipe is the crown jewel of this episode because it's probably one of my favorite things to make and definitely one of my favorite things to eat. It's the epitome of leftover food. So I actually used the same potatoes that I made earlier in the episode, mashed potatoes. I went ahead and scooped them out and set them on the tray, and I set up my little breading station that I had earlier with my eggs, my AP flour, and some breadcrumbs. I put a little salt and pepper in the flour because I want to add a little flavor where I can. The potatoes are nice and seasoned, nice and delicious, nice and buttery, garlicky, all that kind of stuff. So into the egg I go, and then into the flour, back into the egg, back into the breadcrumbs, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my croquettes. What? The rest of my croquettes. And we head into the fry station, baby, getting nice and golden. We go for a swim. Got my landing station, got the same exact oil temperature, same exact amount, same pot as everything. So I'm making sure not to overcrowd my pan like I did with the fries, because anytime you add too much stuff to a pot, you always lower the temperature. That's why I always set mine up for 375 so it can get colder. 350 is the optimal frying temperature. This whole process took about 3 to 4 minutes. It's really easy. All right, and this is gonna be the finished product. So it's like a crispy, crunchy outside and a delicious garlic, potatoey, creamy goodness on the inside. You can put cheese in these to add a little extra oomph to it, you know what I'm saying? But I was on a budget and did not get any cheese. But these came out perfect. Look at them. They're like little tater tots, except not at all. That being said, that concludes this episode of Remedy Kitchen. I'm definitely gonna post these recipes below. Got my Instagram below. Y'all can follow me, ask me any questions that you have. Leave a comment if you liked it, hated it, / things you wanna know, things you wanna see. Like, subscribe, please and thank you. And share the video, please. Bye. Remedy.